Hello everyone, welcome to a session on Microsoft Excel. We would be learning the basics of Excel in the most easy and simplified way. Before we start the session, first of all, please smile and also note some important points. Microsoft Excel is one of the most powerful and highly used applications of all time. In the below session, we would be covering the basics of Excel, the layout, the various features, basic data formatting, and also performing a basic data entry so that finally we create a sample table in Excel. One more thing to be noted is you need not worry about the version of Excel you are using. The most used versions of Excel are 2016, 2019, and Office 365. I will be using Office 365 to explain the entire basics of Excel, but please don't worry because the layout and the structure of Excel remains the same. So please go ahead and see the entire video to learn in the most simplified way. Let's start by clicking on the Excel icon and opening Excel. So as you can see on the screen, I've created a shortcut for Microsoft Excel. Let us open it to understand what exactly is Excel all about. So as soon as I click on Excel, I get this sort of a screen. Now what it's doing is obviously greeting you, depending upon your time zone. It will greet you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Moving ahead, you see these tabs out here. Now these tabs are nothing but a blank workbook and few tutorials which Excel provides, and also templates which Excel provides. Now if I click on more templates, it will show you the kind of templates which are inbuilt in Excel. When we say template, it's actually nothing but a structure which Excel has already created. So you need not create the entire structure again and again. For example, there's a template for invoice with sales tax. There's a template for personal inventory. There are a lot of other templates which Microsoft Excel provides. And trust me, these are also very useful. And you can use it on time to time basis depending upon your requirements. So definitely templates are one of the most useful inbuilt features of Excel. But since we are learning about Excel, let's directly jump into a blank workbook. Let me just click on blank workbook and here we are. This is exactly how the layout of an Excel looks like. Now, if you're seeing it for the first time, do not worry. Trust me, it's very simple. What we will do is to understand in the most simplest way, we will divide the layout of Excel into 5 different parts. Here we go. The first part of the Excel is the quick access bar, which is on the top of the Excel. The second one is nothing but the biggest part of Excel, which is the tabs, ribbons, and groups. We will be getting into the detail of each of these parts subsequently, but for now, just understand these 5 parts which are there in the layout of Excel. The third one is nothing but the formula bar, which again I will be explaining in detail as to what this formula bar does and what are its features. The fourth one is the spreadsheet where all the data entry, all the calculations will happen. And the last one is the status bar where we will actually get to know the status of our calculations, data entries, which we do in Microsoft Excel. So to summarize, as I mentioned, the Excel layout can be divided into 5 different parts, which are on the screen right now. The top one is the quick access bar. The second one is the tabs, ribbons, and groups. The third one is the formula bar. The fourth one is the spreadsheet. And the fifth one is the status bar. Of these 5 parts, the 2 most important parts are the star marked parts, which you can see on the screen, which is the second one, tabs, ribbons, and groups, and the fourth one, that is spreadsheet. Now let's understand each of these 5 parts in detail. The first one is the quick access bar. So as the name suggests, the quick access bar is actually used to provide quick access to various functions in Excel. So if you can see on the screen, I will just take my mouse on this arrow here. If I click on the arrow, I get various options such as automatically save, new, open, save. Now these functionalities can be made available on this toolbar which is on the top. So let's say I click on email, it will give me voila, a shortcut for email. If I click on quick print, see here, this is the quick print option. If I click on print preview and print, it will give me another option. So it's nothing but giving you a shortcut and a quick access to various functionalities of Excel. Trust me, it's very handy to have a lot of features like undo and redo as a quick access, because while you're working on Excel, these shortcuts definitely help. Now coming on to the second part, that is the most important part of Excel: tabs, ribbons, and groups. Now as you can see, tabs are these. The buttons which are given here are called as tabs. That is home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help. For each of these tabs, there is a ribbon below it. So as soon as you click on a tab, let's say if I click on insert, I get a new ribbon below it. If I click on page layout, I get a brand new ribbon out here. If I click on formulas, I get another ribbon. So similarly, as soon as you see a ribbon, there would be few lines which are appearing inside the ribbons. Now these lines are actually creating groups. So let's see, style is a group here, cells is a group here. So the entire portion between two lines is called a group. You can click any other tab. Let's say if I click on insert, the new ribbon appears, and inside the ribbon there are groups which have been created between these two lines. So illustration is a group, add-ins is a group, charts is a group. So to quickly summarize, these are the tabs, this is a ribbon, and this is a group. There are many tabs, as I mentioned a while back. There are many ribbons which appear as and when you click on the tab, and there are a lot of groups available inside a particular ribbon. Now, one more thing that needs to be highlighted in this second part is that as soon as you click on the tabs, you get various new ribbons coming out. Now, inside each of these ribbons, let's consider page layout as a tab, and we have this ribbon which has come out. Inside that ribbon, we have a group called page setup. Now, if you can see, there are various functions in each of these groups. You can click on any of these functions to get the desired outcome. So don't worry about what these functions are all about. We will cover that as well in our subsequent videos. But for now, just understand that these are various functions available in Excel. But one thing which needs to be understood right now in this video is this small box with an arrow. I call it an arrow box. That's the name I have given it. As soon as you click on an arrow box, it gives you further options. So if you can see, Microsoft has tried to fit in as much functionalities as possible in this area of a group. But when there is a limited area available, they have put in an extra box with an arrow where they have given the added functionalities. So this, as soon as you click on the arrow box, it gives you further features which are in that particular group. So even let's say a scale to fit. Now you can select the width, the height, the scale here. You can also click on this to get further details like page setup. So that's nothing but an added feature which Excel has to incorporate all the Excel functions. So that is all about the second part. That is nothing but the tabs, ribbons, and the group. Now the third part, that is the formula bar. Now this formula bar is nothing but actually a blank area which has been created in Excel to tell us that what kind of formulas we are writing in the spreadsheet. So just understand that this formula bar will actually deal with the formulas which we would be writing subsequently in our spreadsheet. There is also another section out here which is nothing but the name box. Now this name box is nothing but giving a name to whatever we are doing here. So let's say I select a particular cell here that is in the column F and the row 6. It's giving a cell name to it, that is F6. So whatever functionalities we would be running here, this name box would be giving a name to it. So that's the only thing that this name box does. So one more thing I would want to highlight while we are discussing the name box is a very important thing which a lot of people ask. So you would be getting a lot of queries around asking what is the total number of columns that are available in Excel and what is the total number of rows that are available in Excel. Not many people know this, but this name box can actually tell you how many columns and rows are available in Excel. So what you need to do is simply go in this button, just click on this button. If I just go here, this button on the left side, which I'm seeing with a triangle inside it, if I just click on that, it will select the entire Excel and also give you how many rows and columns are there. So if you see here, 104856 rows into 16384 columns. So this is just a quick way of understanding the number of rows and columns. We'll continue on understanding the different parts in Excel. So this was all about the formula bar. Coming on to the fourth part, that is the spreadsheet. I was explaining, the spreadsheet is the entire area in your Excel where all the action will happen. Now, what does a spreadsheet consist of? See, always remember the boxes out here are called as cells. Each cell is fitted into a column. These are the columns which are alphabetically named. Let's say A, B, C, D, E, F. These are all columns. And these on the left side are rows, which are actually numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the columns are named alphabetically. The rows are named numerically. Now, as soon as you click on a particular box, or for our understanding, let's call it cell, there is a column which is affiliated with that cell, and there is a row which is affiliated with that cell. And the column and the row gives it a name, that is F6. So every cell has a name which is a unique name to that cell, which is called F6. So the spreadsheet is nothing but lot of cells put together, which comprises of the columns and the rows. Now, one more thing also which needs to be understood here is this entire thing is one sheet. Similarly, we can create another sheet as well. And similarly, we create another sheet. So there could be a lot of sheets put together into an Excel. This one sheet plus the other sheet plus the other sheet can be used for a lot of data analysis. Now, these three sheets put together is called a workbook. So always remember, when we say a workbook is nothing but an Excel which has a lot of sheets in it. When we say a worksheet, we are referring to just one particular sheet in the workbook. So sheet 1 is a worksheet, sheet 2 is a worksheet, sheet 3 is a worksheet. When we say the sum of sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, it's a workbook. So that is all about the section 4. One more. So as I was mentioning, the spreadsheet section is one of the most important sections of Excel, and it is also very important to understand this section in detail. To summarize how the spreadsheet section actually looks like and what are the various elements in the section, here we go. The first one is the cells. As I was explaining you, each of the boxes in the Excel are nothing but cells. And these cells are imbibed into a column and a row, which actually gives the name of the cell. Which means if you see this cell here, the box here is named as G5 because it fits into the column G and the row 5. Similarly, we have the cell D10 here, which fits in the column D and the row 10. One more thing which is very important to understand for a cell is every cell has a height and a width. So as you can see on the screen, this is called the height of the cell. This is called the width of the cell. Please note these nomenclatures because whenever you work on Excel, sometimes people may ask you to increase the height of the cell or the width of the cell. You can actually increase and decrease the height and the width by adjusting the column size and the row size of that particular cell. Moving ahead, one more thing to be noted as I was explaining you, these are called the columns. Every column out here is named alphabetically, which means this is column N, this is column T. As you can see, there are n number of columns in the Excel, and similar to columns, we also have rows, which are this. The row 16, as you can see, it's marked here. Row 23, as you can see, it's marked here. So these are the key elements of the spreadsheet section. And it is very important for us to understand each of these elements clearly without any doubts. Now, the last part which is very important to understand is the array of cells. Now, as I was explaining, each of these boxes are called cells. When you select a particular cell and move your mouse until, let's say, this cell, that is L14, this entire portion is called array of cells. And when you are naming a cell, it is I5, that is the column name and the row name. When you are naming the array of cells, you name it by saying the first cell followed by the last cell. So the name of this array of cells is I5 to L14, as it's clearly mentioned here. So it's very important to understand these elements of the spreadsheet section, and this entire screen in front of you actually presents the summary of it. Now in this entire thing, one last point to be noted is that the array of cells is also called range of cells. So sometimes people use the word range of cells or array of cells. So please don't get confused. They mean the same thing. When we are referring to range of cells, it's the same thing that is being shown on the screen. That is cell I5 to cell L14. That entire box which has been created here is nothing but the range from I5 to L14. Now to quickly end the spreadsheet section, the last part to be covered is the sheets part, that you can add n number of sheets in Excel workbook. When I say you can add number of sheets in your Excel workbook, if you see below, there is a small plus sign with a circle around it. As soon as you click on that, a new sheet gets added. So please remember, every spreadsheet here forms a worksheet, and n number of worksheets, let's say sheet 1 plus sheet 2 plus sheet 3, will form a workbook. Also, one more thing to be noted here is that you can create n number of sheets. Let me do that. When I say n number of sheets, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or as many sheets you want. Let me click here. You see new sheet is getting added every time. You can actually rename the sheets. When I say rename the sheet, let's say the sheet 1, you want to rename it as class A. Here you go. Just go to that sheet name, put your mouse pointer here, double click here, and here you go. It gives you an option of renaming the sheet. So let me rename this sheet as class B. I will double click on sheet 3 and rename it as class C. So as you can see, it's very easy to rename each of the sheets which you have created. One more thing is that sometimes you may create more number of sheets than required. For example, I don't want the sheet 4, sheet 5, sheet 6 which I have created. What you need to simply do is just go to that sheet, right click from your mouse and click on delete button. It will automatically delete the sheet. Let me do it once more for sheet 6. Let me just show it again. I go to sheet 6, right click here. You get various options, go to delete, and here you go. That's how you can actually delete the sheet. So here we end the spreadsheet section. Let's jump on to the last section. The last part of Excel is the status bar. Now status bar is nothing but telling you a status of your calculations which you are doing in the spreadsheet. For example, if I just click on one of the cells, D6, and using my keyboard, I enter data into it, let's say 1, 2, 3, and I click on enter. If you see, while I'm on this cell, if I click on this cell, it's showing me a ready status. If I double click it, it will show me a edit status. Now what it means, that every cell in a spreadsheet is editable, that you can enter data on it. How can you enter data? Just go to any cell on your spreadsheet. Let's say I go to this cell. I've just clicked it once. Double click it. As soon as you double click it, it will give you an option to enter data into it. And you can enter data in like this. So you can see the status is changing every time we are entering data. So let's see a blank cell. It's showing the status of ready. If I double click this, it will show me a status as enter. Let me enter 1, 2, 3 again. I do a enter and I move to the next cell. Now in this blank cell, it's giving an option of ready. In the already filled in cell, if I double click it, it will give me an option of editing. So when you double click a blank cell, it will ask you to enter. When you double click an already filled in cell, it will ask you to edit. So that is the purpose of the status bar. So that was all about the layout of Excel. Now before we end this video, I think it is good to just create a very basic table in Excel. This will give you an overview of how to enter data in Excel and how to also format it. When I say format, it just simply means that we have to make the data look beautiful. When I use the word beautiful, it just means that the data, when we enter or when we show it to anyone, it should be very visibly clear. So let's start with creating a very basic table. Let's say we are creating a table for the performance of students of class A. The first thing you need to do is type the header of the table which you are trying to create. So we are creating performance of the students of class A. Once you have a header to your table, let's start creating a table itself. Now, as I mentioned a while back, a table consists of your columns and your rows. So let's start one by one. The first thing whenever you create a table is to put a header to the various columns. So let's start with serial number, name of the student, marks obtained, and maximum marks. Now, as you can see, these are 4 cells which have been created, or rather where we have entered the data. These 4 cells will act as the column headers for our table. So to start with, once you have these headers created, you can simply go on adding data below these headers. So when we say serial number, it is nothing but 1. Let's say there are 5 students, we'll put it till 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say the name of the students are student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, and the last one, that is student 5. Let's say each of these students obtain very different marks. Let's say the first one being 75, next one being 45, third one being 77, fourth student got 85, fifth student got 95. And we have the maximum marks. Let's say everyone had a maximum marks of 100. So as you can see, we have created a very basic table in Excel which speaks about the performance of the students of class A, where we have columns which are 4 columns, that is serial number, name of the student, marks obtained, maximum marks, and the table also. Now you would be seeing that the columns are not looking completely visible. There are few data which is missing. For example, serial num, we can just see num here but not number. Name of, there is a student word which is missing. Marks obtained, obtained is just half of the word. Maximum marks, half of the marks, half of the word here is going out of the cell. So always remember, the first thing whenever you enter data, after that you have to start doing formatting of data. This is very important when you are writing anything in Excel. We would be covering formatting of data, data entry, functions, all other features of Excel in our subsequent videos. But for now, just get a understanding of how we format the data in the most simplest way. So as I said, once you are done entering the data, always try to adjust the width and the height of the cells. Previously, I had mentioned that every cell has a height and a width to it. So let's try to click on 4 columns. Just try to click on these 4 columns together with your mouse, and you can increase the size of these columns by just one click. So as you can see, I have simply clicked on 4 columns and I can just increase their size, decrease their size all together. Similarly, you can just do it with one column as well. You can increase and decrease the width of this particular cell by increasing or decreasing the width of that column. Now let me just try to go back to the previous way it was looking. So this is how our data was looking. Another way to adjust a column is to double click at the end of the column. When I say double click at the end of the column, if you see this column B, there's a line here. As soon as I reach this line here, I can just double click and you can see the text actually takes the content of that cell. Similarly, I can go here and here you go. The entire text is now fitting very well in the cell. Similarly here, similarly here. But however, please note the best way to do is to simply select all the columns of your table and adjust the width of that cell as you feel right. So let me just adjust the width till here. Yeah, I think now all my column headers are fitting into the cell and this width looks fine. Similarly, you can do the same thing with the rows. You can select n number of rows and simply increase the height of each of the cells. So when we are playing around with the columns, it's called the width of the cell. When we are playing around with the rows, it's called the height of the cell. So similarly, you can adjust the height of the cell, and as you can see, our data is now started looking much better visibly, and we can make it look even better by doing the following. So once you have the width and the height created for that particular cell, the next thing you need to do is the borders. Now select the entire text or the table which you have created, go to home, then in the home there's a font group, go to font and you'll see this small box here. Just click on that and it will give you various options of adding borders. For now, just click on all borders here and here you go. You have all the borders for this entire table. And I think now it's looking even better. To make it look far better, let's just introduce colors. Now, if you just select the column headers, always remember whenever you select the column headers, you can bolden it. When I say bolden it, just go to home, then font group, and there's a B button written here. Just click on the cells, click on bold. It will automatically bold the text which is written in that cell. Also, you can add color to your headers. So while I can select the column headers, let me just insert any color. For now, let's just insert orange color to it. Yes, so if you can see now the data is looking even better. Similarly, you can add color to the table, the contents of the table. Follow the similar process, select the entire cell, go to home, font group. In that you will find a paint box sort of a icon. Just click on the arrow, you will have various colors coming up. Let me just enter data, or rather let me just enter the color which looks like a goldenish yellow. So here we go. This is how it actually looks like, and I think the table is now looking far better. Just think through what else we can do to make it look better. I think if you see these texts which are coming in the cell are at the bottom of the cell. Why don't we bring it in the middle of the cell? Absolutely right. So that's called alignment of the cell. So you can just simply click on the cell, go to home, and then there is an alignment group. Just go to the alignment. There are two types of alignment in any cell. One is that you align it on the left, right, or center in that particular column, and one is that you align it on the top, center, or the bottom of that particular row. So as you can see here, this is nothing but the row alignment, this is nothing but the column alignment. So if I just select this particular cells and I want to center align this from the column perspective and from the row perspective, let me just select these cells. I click on this center. See, the data has come into the center, not top, not bottom. Again, if I click here, the text has come in the center, not left, not right. So that is how we can do the alignment of the text. Let me do this alignment on this column as well. If I select this entire column, let me just bring it on the center. Perfect. Similarly here, let me bring it on the center. Perfect. Similarly here, let's bring it on. So if you see now, the data also looks that it's placed at equidistant, and I think it looks much better. So this is how you can actually make your data look visibly better. The last thing you need to do is always highlight your header. When I say header, it means the header of the table, what we are trying to create or what you're trying to enter. So that header is this one. Let's bold this data. Perfect. It's bold now. Let's enter color to it. Let's say I enter color, which is, let's say we enter yellow color to it. Okay. I've entered the yellow color, but still you feel that something is missing in this. What is missing is that few of the text is actually overflowing from the cell. So Excel has a solution for it also. Just click on this cell, go to home. In the alignment group, you will find a wrap text button. As soon as you click on wrap text button, let's say we click on the cell and click on wrap text button, here you go. All the text has been wrapped into a particular single cell, which actually makes it look even better. The last thing which you need to do for the table header is, as you can see, our table is going till column D, but our table header is only in column A. So why can't we make it until column D? Yes, we can. How we can? Simply select this first cell, go till the column B, the last cell where the table ends, and simply go to home, alignment. There is a merge and center option. Click on the merge and center option and here you go. The entire space or the entire table is now covered by the header, and it actually makes it look better that the performance of the students of class A is mentioned below. So this entire table is now covered with a header on the top of it. It's like, wearing a cap which says performance of the student of class A, and these are the below data points here. Lastly, let's do the alignment part here. Let's do a center alignment here, center alignment from top to bottom also. And also you can increase the font size. So just click on the cell and go to home, font group, and then you will find various fonts here. Also increase the font size. Let's say I make it 12. And here we go. One more thing to be done is to add border. Let me just do that. Yes, here we are. So I think this is exactly how the data can be made to look visibly better by doing various data formatting changes. Please note that this is just a basic explanation which I am giving right now. We will be covering data formatting functions, as I mentioned earlier, in our subsequent videos. For now, just try to work with this and get an output which looks like this. Now, once we have the data formatted and the table created, the last thing you need to know is that whenever you're viewing the data, it may happen that there are n number of columns and n number of rows. So you may want to zoom into a particular data. Let's say I want to zoom into student 2 who has scored 45 out of 100. There could be n number of data which is mentioned here in front of that particular student. So let me just click on student 2. I can zoom in by clicking on the plus sign in the status bar. I think this we have covered before. Now you can see the live example of it. Whenever you're clicking on plus sign, it is zooming into that student 2 who has scored 45 out of 100. Let's zoom out of it. You can actually zoom out as well. So the zoom in and zoom out option is also very, very handy, and you can use it for various purposes. Now finally, when you have the entire data created and your formatting is also done, always remember to save your file, because once you save your file, you can use it for future purposes, for editing, for entering data in the future. How do you save a file? Just go to File button here on the top, the tab which is here. Click on the File button, go to Save. There's a Save option, there's a Save As option. So you can actually Save As option. When you click on that, it will ask you where you want to save the file. Where there is this PC, add a place, or browse. Click on Browse. Just select the path where you want to save your file. Let's say I want to save it on the desktop. I click on Desktop in the Quick Access. I name the file. Now naming the file is also very important, because all the data you have been creating in that particular Excel needs to be named for future purposes. So let's say I have named it as Performance Class A, and then I click on Save. As soon as I click on Save, here we are. See on the top, now the file name has changed. It says Performance Class A, and next to it, it's saying that it has been saved. So that is the way you can actually save your file. So thank you everyone for watching this video. That was all about the basics of Excel. In the subsequent videos, we will cover data formatting, functions, and various other features of Excel. I would recommend you to go through this video again and again to understand it fully and clarify all your doubts. If you found this video useful, please like the video and also share the video. Also subscribe to my channel, as it will motivate me to make similar videos for you. Also click on the bell icon to receive notifications about my next video. You may also comment below the video if you want to see any particular features of Excel that I need to cover in my subsequent videos. I would be happy to do that. See you in the next video. Until then, keep smiling.